right, all right, all right. This ain't just a show. This is a platform. Veteran built, battle tested. Welcome to the Misfit Nation. Yeah! Mic in a room, built from boots on the ground, now we breaking the rules. 2 vets, 1 leader, painting the sound, turn scars into sermons, let them echo around. Authors with truth, musicians with fire, actors backstage chasing something higher. Entrepreneurs bleeding just to get ahead. If you fought for your dream, yeah, you are what you said. If they told you no, if you still came back, if you fell to your knees but you stayed on track, this is your voice, this is your flame. Say it loud, remember the name. No salvation, just elevation. We rise again. From the fight, to the end. We are the Misfit Nation. No damn labels, no damn cages. If you're still breathing, you belong. Turn it up, this is our song. Yeah, this is our song. Yeah. Veterans standing with ghosts in the chest. First responders running in while the world second guess. Gold star names carved deep in the soul. Your story ain't over, we carry the whole. Coaches teaching mindset, breaking the chain, turning Billy alive into owning the pain. Truth over polish, scars on display. If it's real, let it bleed, that's the misfit play. If it's heavy right now, in the dark feels cold. If it's heavy right now, in the dark feels cold. If it's heavy right now, in the dark feels cold. It's Aubrey right now, we're the more than you know. 9888, don't walk alone. Veterans press 1, bring it home. Don't trade forever for tonight. You're still needed in this fight. We're the Misfit Nation, built from scars and dedication. We rise again. From the fight, to the end. We are the Misfit Nation. Every voice is vindication. From the silence to the scream, we're strong. Welcome home, you belong. You belong. You belong. Oh wait, you. Oh wait, you belong.
Woo! All right. Welcome back to the Misfit Nation in the Thursday after dinner edition. We know you have other places you can be tonight, but thank you for cashing in on your frequent flyer miles here at the Misfit Nation. We got a good one tonight. It's going to be action-packed, or I should say information-packed. It'd be great for all veterans listening and all people listening they may have some issues with their hearts as we go forward. Today's guest has dedicated a career to ensuring congenital heart disease patients receive the specialized care they deserve throughout their entire lives. Dr. Monica Sanford is a doctor of nursing practice, acute care nurse practitioner, specializing in cardiology, a nationally recognized healthcare advocate, educator, policy leader, and one of the most respected voices in the cardiovascular care. She has served on leadership councils for the American College of Cardiology, advised state healthcare initiatives, educated future nurse practitioners, and advocated for healthcare policy improvements across the country. She has also worked closely with our brothers and sisters through the VA. But her passion goes deeper. As the mother of a single ventricle Fontan survivor, she has lived the congenital heart disease journey firsthand. Today, we're talking about congenital heart disease, VA claims processes, life as a military spouse, lifelong management, healthcare access, policy reform, and what every family and healthcare professional needs to know. So without further ado, let's welcome Monica Sanford to the Misfit Nation. Welcome, Monica.
Hey, thank you so much.
No problem. It's great to have you here. And I was fumbling a little bit through there because when I got your bio, it didn't have anything about the VA in there. But then when we just talked about that in the green room, I had to add that in there so that our audience will know a little more about you that way, and and maybe throw some questions at you.
Yeah, definitely. That's usually a very hot topic and a very, I did see veterans for the VA for VA disability claims for about 3 years. So, yeah, that's always a popular subject.
It definitely is. Now, I gave basically the 60-second elevator pitch about you, Monica, and we talked about a lot of cool things in the green room about your family of service. If you want to just add some of
Yeah.
that in there to let the audience know where you come from, your background.
Yeah, I have been married to a Marine. He was prior enlisted, but he retired as a G2 of 2nd Marine Division in Camp Lejeune. We have been married 36 years. So I was, we were together his whole career. And so, yeah, I have a lot of experience as a military spouse and moving around and PCSing and uh, just, I went to school while he was deployed a lot of times. And so I just kept advancing my career. I went to nursing school when my son was born with a complex congenital heart disease. So after he was born, and I knew I had to go back to school and learn how to take care of him. So went to school. Before that, I was in business and marketing type stuff. But he was born with the congenital heart, so I went back to school to be a nurse and then a nurse practitioner and then a doctor of nursing practice. And I have been doing critical care cardiology for right about 25 years. So jam packed. But in that time too, if it's I saw veterans for VES for the VA disability claims. They would come to me for their exams for 3 years in Pensacola, Florida.
Okay. Wow. It is jam packed in compressed area there too. 36 years of
Yeah,
marriage or married to the Marine Corps, basically married to the Marine Corps at that point. So, and
100%. So
you have a family of service, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, like we joked about in the green room. The only one you're missing right now is Space Force. So someone out
Space
there in the
Force. I
family.
don't think we have Space Force in our family, but I have to ask. But no, my mom and dad and sister were all Army. My sister went to West Point. My niece is still active duty Air Force. She's deployed right now, about to come home hopefully in next week or so. And then I have my aunt was in the Navy. So we got them all covered. Then we have some in Coast Guard, and so all scattered military.
Yes. And you said you went to learn about the heart, how to help your son, basically, is why you went
Yeah.
towards the heart side. How long did it take you to go through the courses, and how hard was it having a young man in your house with that issue at that point?
Well, it's the course itself. I had already had my degree in business and marketing. So to go back to nursing, I just had to focus on the nursing. But it made it, I want to say easy because it just gave me this passion and this focus and determination. So when I went to Johns Hopkins up in Baltimore when my husband was stationed um, up at Fort Meade. And so we were up there. And so I went to school up there. And then just had to keep advancing my education, advancing. So I went back to get my acute care nurse practitioner, and so I've seen cardiology patients, but I cannot see kids. I see adults. I just can't see kids sick, so that's very hard. But he was when he was going through all his surgeries. He's had 5 heart surgeries before the age of 10. And just I want to stress to everybody in the military, especially if you have any kind of complex congenital, it doesn't have to be congenital heart, but if you have any kind of family member, go to your local EFMP. They worked us through the exceptional family member program that you have on your base. Especially if you're new to the service and you have not heard of them and you have a special needs child, they coordinate medical services, educational, housing, family support. So go check them out. But so it was difficult having a child that had special needs, but when you're so focused and so determined and you just, it makes it easier because you want to learn. And I wanted to learn as much as I could about cardiology because of him. So, and then I just took it and ran with it type thing. I wanted to get into advocacy, get into leadership, get into, more cardiology. So my whole past 25 years has been in cardiology.
You definitely took the ball and ran as far as the
Yeah.
education side of it, going off to doctor, nursing, nurse practitioner. So
Yeah.
you got all that. And then, of course, leading an advocate and policy change maker. What has been your biggest challenge as far as policy, as far as these issues?
Well, yeah, right now, even according to the CDC, right now, we still have, about 1 in every 100 infants are being born with congenital heart defect, and it can range from a mild to severe, very complex congenital. But and thanks to the kind of transformational medical things that are out there now, innovative technology, all the newer surgeries, these kids that are having surgeries, as children and infants, and they're growing up to be teenagers, and then they grow up to thrive into adulthood. I mean, my son is 36 now, so he's of these the kids that are having all these surgeries are growing up. So the main goal when I go to do any advocacy or any kind of awareness, things like that, it's all about, two main goals is early referrals. You have to get referral to a complex congenital heart accredited center that takes care of your baby's type of heart. And then as an adult to transition into the adult care programs at these accredited centers. So those are my two main goals really when I go advocate. But when I go to advocate at Capitol Hill, it is, we just went a few months ago to DC asking for telehealth expansion and permanent telehealth, and to, kind of make sure that we have prior authorizations decreased so we don't have to go through all of the prior auth to get them the care they need. So basically, it's access to care. It's access that boils down to breaking down barriers to care and increasing the access to care.
Oh, okay. And
Sorry, I know that's a lot. Sorry.
how often when a child is born and have some issues, is it misdiagnosed to something else other than congenital heart?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because that is literally, one is the access to care that falls in the kind of social determinants of health, what we call it. Are patients being seen? Are they being, correctly diagnosed? Do they have the insurance? Do they have the geographical location to actually see a certified center or a cardiologist? Do they have transportation? Can they get access to the medication? So there, some of these, when you say misdiagnosed, the diagnosis are delayed because they cannot have the access to care. And sometimes your zip code is more important than your genetic code.
Wow.
Places where they live, and some communities don't have access to the care that they need. So it can lead to a delay of care. So that's why, when I advocate too with senators and representatives, it's all about, funding and appropriations for continued data collection, continued surveillance, continued, awareness campaigns and things of that nature that help increase access to the care. But a lot of parents will kind of not recognize and identify that there may be something wrong that they have to get checked out. The shortness of breath, or they just think the child is lazy or fatigued, or they don't want to run, or they don't want to, things like that. And it's like you got to go have them checked out. Go have them looked at by a primary care, and then have a referral to a cardiologist. So it can definitely be a delay in diagnosis.
And I know even here, I'm right outside a military base here, Fort Campbell. We have one hospital in our area, in our local area, and about 250,000 people here. And then the next biggest care site is Vanderbilt, which is in Nashville, about 45 minutes away.
Yeah, that's where I work. I work at Vanderbilt.
The level of care here is not high enough yet. So most of our patients that are critical got to get sent to Vanderbilt or one of the hospitals in the Nashville sector to get the care they need. And that's a big problem here. So now we're going to have 3 hospitals here in the near future. We're having 2 more built. All at every exit now we're having a hospital. So maybe that'll alleviate the problem, but it still comes down to the level of care at each one of them. Can you
Yeah,
fill
no,
all those hospitals with care and the right doctors and nurses?
no, I love it that you said that because actually one of the things we're advocating for is what's called kind of a hub and spoke model type care. That if they do go to an outside center, a smaller hospital, that they are attached to a collaborative effort with the larger facility, the larger hospitals that do have the congenital care available. So they are automatically sent to, we get a lot of course, we have a whole adult congenital team, children's hospital with a bunch of great cardiologists and cardiovascular surgeons. But yeah, they're sent to Vanderbilt, and I work at Vanderbilt. We see a ton of congenitals come in. My son is seen there with the congenital team. So yeah, that's the main thing is if you go to a smaller outside hospital, they're not going to have the congenital care that your child may need or you may need as an adult. So advocate for yourself to be, transferred to a facility that has that accredited, that is an accredited congenital center.
I know here we see the large ambulances that go down to the Maryland Children's Hospital, and they're huge ambulances that go from here to there, and it just makes your heart stop because that someone on that bus is in trouble, that they go down on the highway, or if they're going in the life flight, of course.
Yeah.
But that's the one bus I see all the time is the Children's Hospital bus going up and down 24 to take
Oh yeah.
space.
We love it. There's a love-hate relation, not hate, but love. We love seeing the birds come in all the time, the children's bird, but then you're just like your heart breaks because there's a baby on there that needs care. But it's we love seeing our congenital patients come in because I know that they're getting the care that they need at Vanderbilt. Or my son was seen for years at Emory. They have a great congenital program too. There are just so many great congenital programs. So, and I will say, achaheart.org has a complete list of all around the country of the congenital centers. But so that's a great, resource to have. But, and you brought up something good is that, another advocacy point is having advocating for the next generation of care providers. I mean, that is huge. We ask senators and representatives all the time to have some kind of incentives for medical providers to take care of these complex congenital patients. We need nurses that take care of them, echo techs to take care of them. They have such unique challenges and what we call the heterogeneity of this population, meaning every single one is so different. So they just have such special needs that we need the whole special team to take care of them. So it's it's great to go, and that's what accredited congenital center has is the surgeons do congenital, the cardiologists, the nurses, the nurse practitioners and physician assistants, the echo techs, the CTs, you name it, they're all used to doing and certified in doing congenital care.
So as you've grown in or become a leader in this field,
Yep.
have you traveled around the whole country to check out other clinics or hospitals that have congenital care? And do those doctors and nurses join you in advocacy on the Hill?
They do, and I love it. And I have gone to a couple of big, huge centers in Texas. I went to, I actually got what's called a travel scholarship to Houston Methodist, which is a huge congenital program out there, one of the best in the country. So I went out there. They paid for me to come out there, paid for me to do their whole symposium and just see what was offered at this congenital center. So every time I go to Capitol Hill, either state, I did a lot of advocacy at state level in Tallahassee when I was in Florida, and now in Tennessee, here in Nashville, and I do a lot in DC. So every time I go to DC, which is at least once a year. I usually go every October with the American College of Cardiology. And we will talk about, like I said, we'll talk about telehealth. We'll talk about, what's called SHIFRA, a Congenital Heart Futures Reauthorization Act that literally asks them to fund more data, more research, more, registries, things like that. So we do. I see, colleagues from Texas. I see colleagues from Florida, all over the place. We will all, converge on DC, and it's actually it's very addicting. I love it. It's so it's an addicting thing to go in and because a lot of people don't realize that most of your representatives and senators are not medical. So you are the expert in the room. You have got to go tell them medically what your patients need, or and if you don't tell them what you need, they're not going to know. They just don't. They just will not realize what your patients need until you tell them. So that's fun. That's fun for me. Can you tell? I could talk about that all day. I could talk about going to DC all day. I love it.
Yeah, I love going up to DC. I go up there usually this week every year. This is the first year in a while I haven't gone up to advocate for veterans and the use of
Yeah.
smart power over hard power, or soft power over hard power, diplomacy first before sending my brothers and sisters back into harm's way, and going into those offices with senators and congressmen who've never served, and seeing, or even their aides, seeing their eyes light up when you tell them the stories, and some of them you can see the tears well up in their eyes because they've never been there. And
Yeah.
then of course you get to meet all the other advocates with you, and a lot of the offices they give you M&Ms and such, so it's not a bad deal to go up there and get snacks that they're thrown. But it's always good to be walking in those halls and have a voice when
Oh yeah.
otherwise you're home saying my voice don't matter. But if you go up there, they do listen. At what they do with it after they listen, you see later, but you don't see it right there. They'll say yes, yes, or maybe, but they'll listen at least to you, and they understand the stories that are coming out.
Yeah, and some of their aides, their healthcare aides, or they are very tuned in to what is going on. So you may not see that representative or senator, you'll see their aide, their legislative aide. They are just as important. So if you can talk to their legislative aide at any time about, I've gone to talk to them about veterans issue. I've gone to talk to administrators of the VA, things like that. So it is. I've had, the medical directors of the VA on my podcast. I always am talking about veterans issues when I go to Capitol Hill too. So I'm either up there, on the Hill for veterans issues or cardiology issues, and sometimes both. So
It's both the same day.
yeah, exactly. I was like, okay, let me put this hat on now, this hat on. So it's and I love talking about both of those issues. But yeah, if you can get your ask down to the 3 minutes and say, this is what I need, this is why I need it, this is who it's going to affect, this is the fiscal responsibility of it, that type of thing. They love that, and you can get your point across real quick.
And I like that you said that in the 3 minutes, because they don't have a lot of time. As much as people
No,
think our representatives and senators have all this time, there's for every one of me and you that go in there is another 20 behind us that want to
100%.
get
They live their life in 5-minute increments.
in. And they have to compartmentalize everything and then try to remember which one was the most important that day, or which committee that they're on is the most important that day to make the right
Yeah.
decisions. So it's always good to have someone like yourself as the voice of reason for the American Cardiac Health Association, right? ACHA, is that it? And
ACHA.org, and I do a lot of stuff with making sure that American Heart Association, American College of Cardiology, I have met with state representatives and senators to help fund American Heart Association type events, or getting CPR taught in schools, and getting AEDs to the schools, things like that. That anything having to do with heart or education on heart, and that's the main thing: is education, awareness, uh, telling patients to make sure that they stay in care, lifelong care for managing their congenital heart pain. Once you're, because I've had so many patients, I have to say this, I've had so many congenital patients that think they are cured after they have some kind of surgery when they're a child or infant or something. That is not, it's not a cure. You still have got to be managed. and follow. Make sure you're going to a center that is following the ACC AHA guidelines, which is telling, the surveillance and, the imaging, when to get your CT, when to get your next echo, when to do your next 6-minute walk test, things like that that tell you your functional health. And so we want to increase your quality of life. We want to improve your outcomes, and we want you to stay in care.
And definitely understanding that you're not cured is probably a really good thing to know, and make sure that you're still taking the steps to take care of yourself and be with us for a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, now let's flip the coin and go into your VA stuff. And
yeah, definitely.
What's the biggest hurdle a lot of veterans face when they're coming out and hit that VA wall?
Yeah, one is they think if they go in and that their how would you say this? That their claim isn't as important as somebody that got physically injured. They, they think just because they didn't lose a limb or they didn't get a TBI or they didn't get something like that, that their claim is not as important, or that they're taking money away from another veteran that needs it more. Something to that effect. Just you can't think like that. You earned it. If you went and if you have a legitimate claim, then you have to go in and start writing down the claim. You go into the va.gov and start putting down. I always tell all my vets, head to toe, you've got to do a head to toe kind of surveillance of yourself, uh, and and see what it is you're going to claim. Are you having headaches? Are you having the rhinitis? Are you having, neck pain, shoulder pains? But I mean, just literally go head to toe. And what was your MOS? What was your occupational specialty? What were you exposed to? Were you on the flight line? Is it noise? Was it, whatever it is, write down your MOS, and then everything connected to that MOS. What did you do? Where did you do it? Is it presumptive service? Were you in a combat zone? Things like that. So, one of the main things, to get back to your question, is they just don't know what they can claim. So it is up to me. I love helping veterans. Just sit down with them and tell them head to toe what you can claim, and just they just don't know. They haven't been given that class, that lesson, things like that. I think we were talking off air. I had a mechanic that came in. He was not going to claim his wrist, and that seemed he was, on a wrench all day, and his hands and his wrist, and that was the main thing that hurt him. But he was just coming in for kind of the PTSD type stuff, and I'm like, no, you have other claims here that we need to address. So, so I love helping veterans figure out, because a lot of them don't take into account that they were exposed to things, even if they weren't in Iraq or Afghanistan, even if they weren't like directly in front of the burn pits type thing, they could have been exposed to stuff in their just regular MOS, on flight lines and when they're on a ship, and they, things like that. So we try to talk through everything.
Just think about that mechanic again, not just the wrenches, all the oils that he's around, all the fuels that he's around all the time, the fumes from the diesel that he's working on, he or she are working on.
Yeah.
Think anything of it because they're just mission focused. I got to get this vehicle up to 1020 standards so it can go out there and be on mission. And their health is like 99th on their list of things to worry about at that point. And then the hard headedness of many veterans is, I'm okay. And it's not happening to me. I'm not that broken veteran. I don't need this, which goes back to the thing with I don't want to make a claim because you can't see what's wrong with me.
Yeah. And I mean, we talk through, how does this affect your everyday, function, everyday mobility, everyday mental status, your home life, your work life. We talk through everything, and to see, some veterans don't realize they can't walk around Disney World because their back hurts so bad, things like that. And they just don't want to claim it. I'm like, if it started here's how it's going to be is you come to see me to do your exam, And the first thing I'm going to ask you is, what is the claim and when did it start? So if it started in boot camp, it started in boot camp. I mean, you're running every single day, and it is kind of these micro tears, you're every single day that you are repetitive use, overuse injuries, things like that that you really may not think of. But then years down the road, your feet hurt, your ankles hurt, knees, hips, back, things like that. And I've had guys pick up constantly every single day for their MOS. They're picking up heavy stuff and lifting, 50 pounds. A lot of MPs don't realize how much they're carrying around.
Yep.
I have MPs and they're carrying not just their vest, but all their gear and equipment and their weapons and their, things like that. So it is, and that affects your hips and back and neck and shoulders. So yeah, everything. So it's, I love that word. It says do hard things there at the bottom.
Yes.
It's like do hard things. And then if you're tired, do hard things tired.
Get ice bags and put them on your knees.
Yeah, so they just don't realize what they can claim and how, but when they sit down and think about it and think how it does affect their everyday life, then it's a lot easier for me to kind of pull it out of them and say this, you were exposed to this, that, or the other on a ship when a lot of guys didn't claim the fire foam. They're like exposed to all of these chemicals all the time. And yeah, like you said, some of the guys that are, they're on tanks and they're behind other tanks or behind other vehicles that are constant emissions right in their face. So it's, yeah. As soon as we talk through it and I just sit down with them and tell me every single thing you did on a daily basis, then yeah, and then it finally all comes out. So,
And then
but yeah,
the not normal things you did, not normal everyday things you had to do that you didn't think anything of at the time, the 12-mile road march or things like that.
yeah, and things that you wouldn't have done if you weren't in the military.
Right.
Yeah. and you do it day after day after day without any rest period in between. That's the main thing, and that's when I put a claim in for somebody and then I connect a study to that claim. The study is actually saying something like they're doing all these repetitive overuse injuries without proper rest and time to recover. So things like that, because we do have to, when we put in a claim, we have to give evidence behind it. So we give the evidence behind the claim and telling why it matters. So.
Right. And now I know in most of the Army battalions, at least here at Fort Campbell, they have like the whole health initiative in each battalion or each brigade, where they have the physician assistant, the physical therapist, mental health warriors, and they're taking care of the whole soldier now. So they do they work out, but then they have recovery planned in there. They do the mindfulness, they do meditation, they do stretching, and they make sure that they're not overworking. I mean, you can see it now as you don't see them running every day on post anymore like we used to, and you don't see them carrying those large rucks every day like we used to here. It's usually maybe once a month now instead of every week or every day. So I think Big Army is getting the picture. I think the Marines are probably not they're probably in the same boat. That they're learning that the soldier and the Marine are warriors and they're athletes. They got to be treated as an athlete, as a tool of war instead of just a pawn of war, and make sure that they're healthy for the whole 20+ year career and then maybe for a while after.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you said that. And, I hear a lot of, the service members come in and they say they don't think they can claim anything because they were never seen in the military for it. Meaning they didn't go to clinic or they didn't get an x-ray while they were in, things like that. That is a misnomer, that you still can claim it. We just have to, you're telling me every day I had to take ibuprofen at home or Tylenol at home or ICID or rest or, things like that, or it hurt. If it's hurt, it's hurt, but we had, guys come in that were in combat and they don't have a clinic out there. They didn't go to a clinic and get an x-ray out in frickin' Iraq. So it's so we have to put the story together and tell why you have that injury or that trauma or that something is hurting. So just because they don't have but it helps if you were in, and I will stress that to anybody about to get out of the military now, go be seen, get it documented as much as you can. That this, whatever injury it was, and have it x-rayed and have it, if you have need a sleep study because you have, you know, the obstructive sleep apnea or whatever, or if you have just every single day you're taking over the counter Claritin because you can't breathe, rhinitis type stuff, or that, document it, put it down because that can be claimed. Your just constant congestion and constant, having to, and that can be attributed to some of the exposures you had. So, there's a ton of things that tiny little details that matter, and I just want everybody to go in just because you didn't, that you weren't seen for it in service. But if you had, because you can also claim, if you're claiming something and you had medical management for it, meaning you were on a medication for it, and then that medication was increased or titrated up, that is actually a clinical change in your status. So it is literally, it is worsening because your medication is having to be increased. Things like that. So yeah, just write it all down. Go head to toe and write down every single thing you think is wrong with you, and that was caused by service related.
I like you said the head to toe things. Most service members are taught first aid or combat first aid, and you're taught to go head to toe doing that as well. So
Oh
they
yeah,
should keep that in their head that we were taught this at one point. Maybe I should do this again and make sure that I'm doing it to me and not just my buddy. To make sure everything that I know is wrong, that hurts or has a little weirdness to it now, that's not the same as it was when I was 18 or 19 when I joined the military.
yeah.
I should write it down and maybe get this thing checked out, or at least get it annotated now before it gets worse.
100%. I'm glad you said that because we get a lot of veterans that, they think they're made of steel when they're 18, 19, 20 years old. Yeah. And now we're 40, 50, 60, and you're like, it's not, it's hard to recover from some of these injuries that happened 20 years ago. And you don't think about it, but it'll creep up on you. So you need to write it down.
It goes back to I have this hard head thing, and I don't want to ask for help, and nothing's wrong with me. It's someone else's problem.
Yeah, and I just want to stress too, when somebody goes in, when they came in to see, or if you're going in to see your claim, your provider that's doing the exam, be ready to be comfortable. If you're claiming something on your feet, we need to see your feet. Wear shoes that are comfortable. Some guys come in, they're claiming stuff and they have these big, huge boots on and stuff. But be comfortable. Be ready to do some range of motion exercises. We do have to do the assessment, and we do have to. If you're claiming shoulder, neck, hip, things like that, and you've never had an X-ray, be prepared. I'm probably going to send you for an X-ray. I'm probably going to have to send you for labs, depending on what you're claiming. Send you for some kind of imaging. If you've never had X-ray, then you are, and you're claiming arthritis type pains, and decreased range of motion from things, and then I'm going to have to X-ray it. But I can't. A lot of misnomer too is that we treat. A lot of the veterans come in and they want, can we change their prescription for this, or can we order this for an outside? I mean, it's not an urgent care visit, or it's not a primary care visit. It's a, VA disability claim for a very specific claim. But I would definitely urge everybody, go on va.gov and just start, go head to toe, do your homework, figure out what is going on. If you're having headaches all the time, congestion all the time, PTSD. If you have any kind of eyes, ears, nose, brain type stuff, that is a very specific claim that needs to be seen by an ophthalmologist or optometrist or a dental or whatever, stuff like that. So it can take some time, and just be prepared that it's going to take time. And we have some that go through really quick, but some it's 6 months, 8 months. But then, it's just a process. So be ready for the process.
definitely is a process, and you got to be in for the whole game, not just for the initial process of it, the initial
Yeah.
writing. Got a couple questions from the audience here, so I'll
Yeah.
start popping them up here for you. This is from at Shell Shark. What is the biggest mistake congenital heart disease patients and families make when transitioning from pediatric care to adult care? Thank you, Shell Shark.
Yeah, thank you so much. And that's actually a great question because the main one is they stay with the pediatric cardiologist. So you absolutely need to go to an adult congenital cardiologist. When you're transitioning into teenagers, into adulthood, you will have some of the comorbidities that every other adult has. You will have high blood pressure, or they could. They may have high blood pressure or diabetes, or the females will want to go through family planning and pregnancies, things like that. So you will have adult problems that every other adult may have too, but you have a congenital heart disease and a comorbidity that needs to be addressed with an adult provider. So probably the biggest mistake is they're transitioning, but then they stay with the same provider. That's not we need a true transition from a pediatric provider to an adult provider. And then another part of that is the congenital, or they will go to a general cardiologist. I work for a ton of general cardiologists. I love them. But they need to be seen not just by a general cardiologist, they need to be seen by a very specific congenital specialist. So if you're transitioning from pediatric teenager into adulthood, you've got to at least once go be evaluated, assessed, and do the whole evaluation with a certified congenital specialist.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
good. And I would never had that whole answer. So awesome. Thank you, Monica. And our next question comes from at Jen's Dragon. Many veterans become frustrated with the VA claims process. From your perspective as a healthcare professional and advocate, what are the biggest mistakes veterans make when they're filing that claim?
That they are not specific enough, that they are, I have them just come in and have just my feet hurt or my back hurts. It is when you're putting down on the claim, get as specific as you can. When I sit for too long or drive, I'm driving too long or I'm walking too long or I walk upstairs or walk downstairs or, I have headaches every single day that prevent me from working, how it, affects your work, your home life, your functional status, because they come in and just so kind of glib in general about what their claim is. So try to be as very specific as you can if you are talking joints or muscle or like I said, eyes, ears, nose, head, things like that. Just try to be very specific, especially if you are claiming headaches. Headaches that's a big one. That's a big claim, but it can be very specific. Like I have headaches. How many times a week do you have it? What happens when you have it? Do you have to be in a dark room when you have it? Do you have to, what medications are you on? Have you ever been seen by neurology to care for them? So probably, like I said, one of the biggest things is one, they don't claim enough. That's one of the biggest problems is they don't claim kind of very specific what they should be claiming and they don't know what to claim. So I would say, and I don't advocate for, I would love for veterans to go talk to somebody for free. Have like, if they want to email me, I'll be glad to answer your question, which I do all the time. I have veterans text me all the time. I was telling Rich off air that I literally have, my sister was in the Army. She was at West Point, and I take care of some of her West Point buddies. I mean, take care of them, meaning answer all their questions. So I have, a bunch of Marine buddies, friends of my husband's, that if they text me or email me, I will try my darndest to answer very specifically what needs to be done. So that's it, is they do not get specific enough.
I can see
Because
that.
Yeah, because I can tell you, if you get specific enough, what happened, when it happened, where it happened, what you were doing, how it affects you, uh, that helps us tremendously put that claim in.
Definitely does. And I know a lot of guys that got out just before me would just write down knee pain or uh, stub toe or my toe throbs or something like that, and not enough the why behind it. What did you do to
Yeah.
get there, or how often does it happen? And then complained when nothing was done about it, and then wound up waiting for almost 15 years to actually try to revisit the claim again.
Yeah, and just those headaches and kind of nasal stuff, nasal congestion, things like that. Uh, if you know you were on a flight line or you were in a motor T, something like that, that you were always exposed to stuff, just be very specific of what you were breathing in, the cleaning products, the fumes. If you could see it, smell it, feel it, taste it, things like that, then you were exposed to it.
Definitely, if you can smell it and taste it, you definitely were exposed to it. My God,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, some just don't. They don't, think about that. They don't think that they're like, oh, I could see, this way off in the distance. Okay, then you were exposed to something.
And there's a lot of guys that were in a Desert Storm, especially. They thought they were far enough away from everything, and the winds changed a lot during that time, and it went right over them without them knowing
Yeah,
it.
and it's in your water supply, and it's everywhere. So it is just, was it a dermatological exposure? Did you ingest it? Did you smell it? Whatever it was, get as specific as you can, and that just helps. That helps us pinpoint specifically the claim that we need to help you file.
Definitely. And we'll go to our next one here. This is from Limit Critic A12. Many veterans confuse VA healthcare eligibility with VA disability compensation. Can you explain the difference and why understanding both is so important?
I actually cannot explain that enough. I would have to defer that to a VES because there is, veterans benefits. There's veteran disabilities. I deal with just disabilities, um, but actually, could you put the question back up, or what was the? Um, sorry. Uh, Mainly, it is if VA disability compensation. I'm doing your compensation exam. I'm doing your. If you even get, if you even if you put in a claim and then it even comes back at 0, you have filed that claim and you can be seen, you're eligible to be seen in the VA for that claim. You see what I'm saying? So I don't want to get it confused. I would have to defer you to a VES at the VA. So yeah, I 100% agree with you that veterans confuse those two, and I don't want to confuse them more. So I apologize. I apologize, but it's I know once you get, I think it's 30%, then you're eligible for all other kinds of things. Um, it may have decreased by now, but I think it's 30% that then you can go on base and get an ID and get your be just a bunch of eligible things, that a VA loan, a VA education, things like that, that are my biggest advice would be go to your nearest VA. I know a lot of people are not geographically close to one, but go either to your nearest VA or go to va.gov. But go into your nearest VA, sit down and talk to a VES, sit down and talk to somebody at the VA and ask them what you're eligible for. And because some people have zero idea what they are even eligible for. And then when they do that, they're eligible for all kinds of stuff. So, you earned it, and don't leave it on the table. Just, let them do everything you earned, let them help you out with loans, education, housing, whatever it is, go get it.
Definitely don't leave stuff on the table that you've earned. When you raise your right
Yeah.
hand, it was already allocated for you. They understood the issue. They understood what could happen to you. It's there. Take advantage of what you earned.
Yeah, and that's what in the kind of when we're doing the physical exam stuff, I always look at it as would this have happened if this patient or veteran was not in the military? Is it worse because they were in the military? Is this, and yes, most of it is. It's like it happened because due to and but for, the kind of legal term, but for military service. So you signed your name, you went, you did it, and so go talk to about, go to the VA and talk to them about every single thing that you're eligible for.
Yeah, get everything that you earned and everything you're eligible for without it. You don't have to lie for stuff because they can tell if
No,
something's wrong with you. They'll be able to tell just through a physical. They'll know what's wrong with you. And some
yeah.
of you have things that you don't want to admit is wrong with you. Go in there and just tell the truth. You'll be good. The truth
Yeah,
sells.
and I'm glad you said that because there are a lot of, and I won't get in, but there are a lot of things that men and women come in with that are very sensitive topics. And it can be caused by the military service. If you have any kind of uh, sexual problems or mental health problems, or very sensitive stuff that we see all the time, um, just please if you don't trust your examiner, ask for another examiner. You but open up to them, let them know what is going on, and let the medical provider help walk you through it. Um, because don't keep it from us. We can't read your mind. We need to know what is going on, and we can help you with, because sometimes any sexual problems may be because of the medications you're on for something else that was caused in the military. And any kind of mental health issues may be because of medications you were on or something else going on. Let us kind of put all that puzzle together and help you out. And so you know, trust your examiner enough to kind of open up, and um, that's a huge importance because there is a lot of sensitive topics.
Yeah, 100%. And I know a lot of those sensitive topics people don't want to bring to light, but you have to
Yeah.
if you get to care and get out of the darkness of that problem.
Yeah, and it's a claim. It's definitely a claim. We put that in the claim, and you can claim any of those sensitive topics. We can claim it, and then we can kind of trace it back to what could possibly be causing that issue. Um, but yeah, we need to know everything going on.
All right. And one last question from the audience here. This is Nancy Jane Truist. You spent your career advocating for patients and navigating complex healthcare systems. What's one piece of advice you'd give every veteran trying to navigate the VA claims process?
We've said it on here a few times, but the main one is uh, do your homework. Write down, when I say homework, I mean write down, you're advocating for yourself. So write down, where you were, what is going on, when it started, where it started, what date it started, everything. If you went through physical therapy for it, or a chiropractor for it, or mental health therapy sessions for it, or you name it, anything going on, write it down. I'd rather you come to me and you have 10 pages of stuff and let me go through them instead of you just come in and go, I have a headache. It's like, or I can't do this, or my foot hurts, or my hand hurts. It's like I need the information. So I would advise everyone, if you're going to claim something, first go head to toe and figure out what you want to claim. And if it's presumptive service from a combat or in an area that is presumptive service already, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, and others. But if it's, so do that and then go on va.gov and look at how you file the claim. I have so many that come in have never gone in and enrolled on va.gov. They've never even gone onto the website. So
Wow.
go onto the website, and they literally have come in and they're not navigating it themselves. They've either paid somebody to do it or somebody's doing it. You advocate for yourself. That would be the main thing.
That's great advice because I know a lot of people who just like that have or steer clear, because they have this weird fear of the VA. If they tell the VA anything, they're going to lose some kind of rights somewhere else. I'm just telling you, if you want to be healthy and get taken care of without coming out of pocket as much, get involved with the VA and take care of you. And then those other things don't matter really. If you need that stuff, you're still going to have it. Don't worry about those things.
Yeah, document it. Document. In the medical field, to us, when we say if it's not documented, it wasn't done, that matters. So write it down, get it down. So when you are going, you're getting your notebook out tonight and going, I was stationed here this time this year, whatever, or in boot camp, we went running on a 13-mile, 20-mile hike, whatever, and I couldn't, my knees and ankles hurt for the for the rest of boot camp, whatever, and I had to keep reusing it and overuse. It's overuse injuries, repetitive use injuries. Use those words. So it's repetitive use without proper rest. Things like that. Write it down.
100% write
And
everything.
and I have to say, you can claim every single joint, every single finger, every single, if your thumb hurts, say your thumb, not just your hand, because your hand is a different claim. So it's like your wrist, your elbow, every single joint is a different claim. So, and it's your neck. If your neck hurts and you just say, oh, my back hurts, what part of your back hurts? Is it thoracic, like your chest area, your neck area, your lumbar spine, your lower area, your pelvic? Be as specific as you can be.
Yeah, very specific when you write claim. And if you need help, reach out to a VSO or reach out to Monica and see if she can point you in the right direction.
100%. I will say my email.
Yes. All right, Monica, I have one more hard question, then my 2 closing questions after that.
Okay.
If every congenital heart disease patient in America could hear one message from you today, what should it be? What would it be?
To stay in lifelong care.
Nice.
Lifelong management is essential from birth all the way up to adulthood. You've got to be seen by a complex or a certified congenital center at least once. But stay in care. You have to, everybody thinks the number one reason why they don't stay in care is that they feel good. And then they're trying to seek care when something goes wrong at a facility that doesn't care for congenitals, congenital heart patients. So get established somewhere, stay in care.
All right. And my last 2 questions. First one, you were about to give the answer a second ago. What's the best way for anyone in the audience to get contact with you if they need some advice, or maybe they just want to pick your brain like we did tonight?
Yeah, definitely. My email is Sanford, my last name. So it's MMMSANFORD@hotmail.com. Just put in the subject line that you have a disability claims question. I answer those. I need to know that that's what it's about, so I open them quick. MMMSanford@hotmail.com. You can check out, I've literally had on so many, I've had a VSO on my podcast. My podcast is the Monica Sanford Show. I have a ton of veterans on there. I will have to say, I just had one on. It was such a great show that we aired it twice because my show goes out on Reach Across America Radio. And the last 2 weeks have had Joshua Parrish on from VetLife. And he developed, created, however you want to say it, an app called the Battle Buddy app. Please go on there. Please check out the Battle Buddy app. It was amazing, all the things he was telling me that the app can do to help you through the VA disability claims process. So check out the Battle Buddy app too. But I'm on the Monica Sanford Show, and I've had thank you so much. That last one right there is Joshua Parrish. But so it was a great show. Go back and listen to his show. I've had a VSO on there. Jason Boatwright is, if you look, just kind of Google Jason Boatwright, Monica Sanford Show. Go back and listen to his show. He tells you exactly how to do claims too. I've had him on my show 3 times, so because he's great.
Outstanding. And that's the Monica Sanford Show.libsyn.com.
It's actually you could get there from the real MonicaSanford.com.
Oh, yeah, I got that here right there going across the bottom.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, the real MonicaSanford.com. Yeah, just, I've had VSOs on there. I've had the VA director, medical director of the VA on there talking about VA stuff. So a ton of veterans, a lot of base commanders, veteran heroes, Purple Hearts, you name it. And my husband that's retired, he was prior enlisted, but retired as a Marine Lieutenant Colonel. He is usually my co-host, so you will see him on the show too.
Outstanding. Good tag team effort there. That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
My last question for you, Monica. This is for the audience. This is for them. What's 3 things can the Misfit Nation start doing tomorrow to be better people?
Oh, wow. Well, I think you all have great people. So yeah, they're all great listeners, all great people. But definitely, be nice, go give back, volunteer somewhere if you don't. And I know y'all volunteered service, things like that. But I saw patients at a free clinic for 5 years, the past 5 years, and just, volunteering somewhere, it helps your soul, put it that way. Just go to a soup kitchen, go to somewhere and help a veteran in need, or help anybody in need. But yeah, that's I don't know how many, but just be kind. That's it. It's better to be kind than be right.
That's right. Definitely. 100%. Monica, thank you for hanging out with us tonight on Thursday night with us on the Misfit Nation and sharing a lot of wisdom on both congenital heart disease and the VA claims process. This has been an awesome show. Thank you so much for having me on. I know there was some things I missed, so definitely email me. I'll be glad to go over it with anybody that emails. So thank you for having me on. This was amazing. No problem. Misfit Nation, remember, if you feel those walls caving in on you and the darkness is starting to shine on you more than the light, stop and think about some things. You are important. Don't make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. A day with you tomorrow is 100% better than one without you. Dial 988. Go in your wallet. Pick out that little piece of paper we tell you to write 3 names on. Call those 3 names. They want to hear from you. They want you to call them. You should call them anyway, even when you're not in trouble, so that they know you're thinking of them. And if all that fails, contact us. info@themisfitnation.com, Steven@themisfitnation.com, or Jake@themisfitnation.com. One of us will keep you on the line until someone local can get there to you and make sure you're okay and keep you with us tomorrow and into the future. Until next time, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling.
Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the Misfit Nation Show. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. That's themisfitnation.com. Check out all our past episodes and get some of the great Misfit Nation gear for you and your family. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling, because we are Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation.